Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data. And occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this demo for the staff task schedule. What is a staff task schedule? Well, it's if you've got a business and you've got up to 10 staff members, or you want to itemize 10 people, and you've got, well, you could have more than 20 clients, but you've 20 monitored clients. Now you'll see in a minute what monitored means. You can list up to 20 monitored clients. So i.e. what this is essentially you'd be able to set up tasks for specific staff members to do for specific businesses. So if you wanted to do a report based on a business to see what tasks are being undertaken, you can call that up. Or if you want to call up a specific staff member to see what they're busy with, to see their work ahead, you can call that up. If you want to do it for meetings, things like that. So you can list up to 20 clients. As I said, you can have more clients than that, but the 20 are monitored, and list up to 10 staff. Don't put any duplicate names in. Make sure that they're all recognizable clients and staff. Then if you have a look, you can see the importance. You can rank tasks by importance or urgency. Now importance is over here. Each task will get an importance rating, and you can rename these. I put critical, high, normal, low, none. You can rename those, but obviously red being the most important, green being the least. So you can either rank this task by importance. This is when you call up a report. Do you want the critical task to be at the top regardless of when they're due? Or rank them by urgency. Ranking by urgency means that the task due today is going to be higher up on the list regardless of what importance it is. Obviously, if you've got a critical task due today and a low task due today, the critical one will be above. But what do you want to be the primary ranking function? So let's leave that as importance at the moment. Once you've done that, you basically set up your spreadsheet to use. Then tasks, very, very simple. Client, select the client name if you want one of the 20 that you've listed. If it's not one of the 20 that you've listed, so if you want to say, for argument's sake, have a new client that's not on your list, you can put in new client, click OK. Say the client name event is not monitored, do you want to continue, just click OK, and you will in fact go through, it'll add that client on. However, when you get to your report, you won't be able to select that client to view their particular tasks as a report because they're not on the monitored list, but you can still have the tasks on the task list. Task description, you can put in there whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, so that you know what that task is to remind the people what to do. And then select the importance. As you select the importance, it changes color accordingly. Put in a start date and the due date for the task. Now, the due date for the task, it might be a task that requires a fair bit of work over the time. It might just be a task that requires being done on that day. So what I've done is I put in the time. Now the time is not the time, i.e. 12 o'clock during the day. The time is how long do you reckon that task will take. These times don't actually do an awful lot, but why they're there is because if you see that you've got a task due for the 19th of March, which is actually today when I was recording the video, and it's an hour long or 10 minutes long or half an hour, then you know, okay, that's not going to take that long. If you've got a task that takes 10 hours that's due for today, you really ought to have started it already. So it's just an indication as to how much time, so you can get a gauge of how much time you actually need to spend on these tasks. It doesn't do an awful lot, as I'm saying. It doesn't decrease as you do or anything like that. It's just an indication of how long the task will take. Then the names that you've entered will each be on one of the headers over here. I've only entered 2 names. And then what you do is each person with each task, you can either select a check mark, which means that that's their obligation to do that task, or you can select an @ symbol, which means that they're going to oversee the task. So in other words, you might have a team leader or someone who needs to oversee the task but isn't actually going to spend time on the task. So when you call up the task for that person, you want to see them, but you don't necessarily want, you want to know that they're just overseeing the task and they're not actually doing the task, so this time doesn't necessarily relate to them. You can select which one you pick for each person. When the task is complete, simply come here and select done. It'll turn grey. You can remove the tasks. I'll show you how to remove completed tasks in a minute or two. Then you can go to the filterable report. Now what this does is it gives you, at any stage, it gives you the number of critical tasks, number of high-end tasks, number of normal tasks, so on. So these are how many tasks you've got per each category. If there's a white space there like there, then you've got none of them. This is talking about this week's tasks. Now what I mean by weeks is this report is broken down into weeks. So whatever day you're on, it's going to give this week's task. So it's Monday to Sunday. If you're obviously not including weekends, that's fair enough, Monday to Friday. But it'll give you all the tasks due this week. So these tasks, all tasks, that's everything. But from there on down, so this section here, the graph here, this is all about this week. That's why it says the week of Monday the 18th of March to Sunday the 24th of March. So this is merely for this week. And if you scroll down, you'll see a list of the tasks, filtered tasks, i.e., this isn't necessarily this week. These are all the tasks, but they're listed filtered. So this section here, the graph here, and that one is based on the week. The one at the top here is everything, and at the bottom here is everything, but it does go according to the filter. Now, what do I mean by the filter is simple. There are 3 criteria. First of all, before we get to filter the staff and client, let's just have a look at the date. If you want to see next week's schedule, or the week or the previous week's schedule, just put in the date over here. So if we put, for argument's sake, the 15th of March, then that'll give us from the 11th to the 17th. So that now, those are the tasks based on the previous week. So that all changes based on the previous week. This stays the same because it's everything, and that at the top stays the same because it's everything. So you can override the date that you wish to see. So if you want to look ahead to next week, put in any date from next week, in any of the days next week, and it'll pull up next week's report. So it'll take the same tasks, but based on next week. Now, if you want to filter this, then you can filter either by client, or by staff, or by both. So if you say, well, actually, I'd like to see what client 1's up to, it filters and it says there's 1 critical task. It's not due this week. You can see when it was due, it's overdue, it's beyond, it's done, you've got a problem with that. So you can see based on any client. If you, or you can sort by client 2, and you can see what client 2's up to. Alternatively, you can come here and you can see, well, what is Richard up to? So you can do by staff or by task, and then obviously here it shows that task. It shows that Wendy's overseeing that task, but the only reason why it's got this task on here is because Richard is in fact involved. If Richard wasn't involved, it would come out completely. So you can see the tasks. You can filter by person. You can filter by client. You can in fact filter by both. If you'd like to see client 5, Richard, what's going on there, it'll only show client 5 and Richard, so it'll filter. So this top section here and the bottom are all the jobs, all weeks, but filtered by what your filter is, and these 2 over here and this middle section are for the week that is in question, as well as the filter. So I hope that makes sense to you. This is obviously quite a simple report, but using the filters, you can filter out whatever you want. You can bring in whatever you want to have in the report. And I think that is all. I wanted to show you one last thing. If you want to remove tasks, so let's just say you've done the first 2 tasks and you want to remove them, you can in fact just come and highlight that like that, right click, clear contents. Once you clear the contents, you can come here and you can sort again by client or task or whatever, and it will resort everything. Or you can sort by due date and it will resort them into the order. So that is in fact how the spreadsheet works. Don't delete anything or move any cells or anything like that because it'll mess up formulas. But I hope that helps you, and I wish you all the best with your staffing tasks in the future. Thank you, and bye-bye.